the foundation of life, a resource that is not only essential to human life, but animals and plants. Without this precious resource, we would perish. Then why are we not doing more to keep clean water on our planet sustainable and accessible to everyone? According to a study conducted by the United Nations, there is a total of 1.2 billion people in the world that don't have access to water. And in the coming year, that number will be rising, with about 1/3 of the world's population expected to have a critical water shortage by 2025. Water shortages may seem odd when the entire Earth is made up of 71% water. The data collected by the United Nations indicates that 97.5% of the water on the planet is saltwater, and 2.5% is freshwater safe to drink. Additionally, out of the 2.5% of freshwater on Earth, 1.7% of the freshwater is locked up in the glaciers and snow. And why do we take water for granted?
While the reality is most of us in the United States are fortunate enough to live in a city where water is not much of an issue, where the water is readily available all the time and we don't have many limitations. It is crucial to remember that it does not indicate the water problems in the world are non-existent.
Water may be something you take for granted, but in the coming decades, it seems it's likely to become more precious even than any fuel.
Never before in the history of the modern world has a whole city of this kind threatened to run out of water for its citizens completely.
The state of California is resorting to drastic measures tonight to combat its severe drought.
If the drought continues, you might have to say goodbye to some of your favorite foods.
China is drying up. In the 1950s, there were 50,000 significant rivers. Now, less than half remain.
Worst drought in 80 years in the state of Sao Paulo. Reservoirs have reached rock bottom.
Coming to you from Lake Piru, we're at the bottom of a reservoir. We should be 30 feet underwater here. Instead, these are the conditions.
Things like climate change and population growth have affected the recharge rate and strain on the world's water supplies. Seth Black, a director of the Institute of Environmental Science and Engineering at UC Berkeley, suggests that water reclamation is a key answer to making water last us as long as possible. Water reclamation is the process in which wastewater is converted and treated to be reused for other purposes, such as industrial irrigation, recharge aquifers, or even treated to drinking water standards.
In the last 30 years, the Fred Harvey Water Reclamation Plant has been in operation. The plant has treated over 55 billion gallons of water, used to recharge the Waco Bolson.
One of the first in the country to clean used water and successfully recharge groundwater levels.
The downside of water reclamation is that it's not always the most cost-effective method.
The bottom line is that the technology is there to clean that water up to any level you want. It's just how much do you want to spend to do it? And when is it not economically feasible to pump groundwater?
Another method that the city of El Paso is utilizing is switching from solely using groundwater to also using surface water.
The city of San Antonio is fully reliant on groundwater. We utilize both sources of water.
The underground resource we use is called the Waco Bolson Aquifer, which is located in under the city as well as part of Chihuahua and New Mexico. And most of the surface water used is obtained from the Rio Grande. Even though the Earth's climate patterns have continued to shift unpredictably, data indicates that the amount of water used in the city has decreased. In 1990, it was estimated that 38 billion gallons of water were used, and even though the population increased by 200,000 in 2010, the city used 37.4 billion gallons of water. But what has changed in the last 2 decades? The El Paso water utilities took extra effort to educate the growing community in water issues and promote water conservation. And as the university has grown, it's done its fair share in water conservation on campus by implementing different methods of resource protection.
The university is working alongside the El Paso water utilities to give more hands-on experience to the students so that they may graduate with tools needed to help the world overcome this issue.
You can go through your college program and not get out in the field very much and see real projects, real drilling projects, real infrastructure.
As students, we need to make sure that we're bringing awareness to other students in our community about this water shortage.
And that we may graduate and become pioneers in this field to develop new and innovative ways to protect and manage this vital resource.
So we can give access to those who don't have water.
So that we may continue to provide water to our successors.